Hey guys, it's Kazi here, and we're going to be looking at the August producer's letter for Global Dokkan. So it's been a little bit since I sat down and recorded. Caught a bit of a shaft on Dokkan recently, so it's kind of put me off of the game. But we're back. That's why, guys, please practice what I say. Do not practice what I do. Moving forward, so with the August producer's letter, we actually got some really good news for Global. We're going to go ahead and just click through real quick. So the first thing that we got are contents to be unified with the JP version. Those are new characters, campaigns, events, Extreme Z Awakenings, and Super Extreme Z Awakenings. The next thing we're going to be talking about are the contents not to be unified with the Japanese version, which is character rarity types, link skills that are different from the Japanese version, titles and designs of missions, and events that are different from the Japanese version, merchandise including discounted dragon stones and packs. So we're going to go like one bullet point at a time. The very first one was very obvious. Like, we're going to get new characters, campaigns and events, Extreme Z Awakenings and Super Extreme Z Awakenings that we haven't got yet. Of course, they're going to be unified. But this thing right here, character rarity type and link skills. So there are a couple of cards on JP that are just like considerably different on Global. And to be fair, like Global seems to always get the good end of the stick with this. Cards like the Fizz Goku Black is actually slightly higher in stats for Global than on JP, and then cards like the STR Pycon on Global, I believe it's Int Pycon on JP. Not only are they different types, but they're also like vastly different in stats. Like, I'm pretty sure the STR Pycon has like wildly better stats than the Int Pycon. So cards like those, I could imagine, since right here it's basically saying that they're not going to fix them, they're just going to leave them as is. Cards like that probably aren't ever going to get an EZA, because it wouldn't be fair if you give like a super busted EZA for the STR Pycon on Global, and then you give it for the Int Pycon on JP, but the Int Pycon is significantly weaker because it has far less stats than the STR one. So that would cause quite a big of an issue with the physical Super EZA for Goku Black. That one's a little bit more maintained because, like I said, it's fairly similar in stats. It's nothing too crazy, and it's already happened. So they're not gonna like change JP's version to match the Global version or vice versa. They're just kind of gonna leave it as is. The next thing is titles and designs of missions and events that are different from the Japanese version. This is just stuff that's already in the game that they don't really want to fix. I completely understand the titles and designs of missions and events that are like exclusive for JP or exclusive for Global. They don't want to basically make it okay, Global guys, you're gonna have to adapt to the JP guys, or JP guys, you're gonna have to adapt to Global. They're just like, no, we're gonna leave it as is, and yeah, pretty much move on from that. But they are saying that there are not going to be differences in rewards for these events, which is absolutely perfect, because you want to keep the same rewards, but if the events are slightly different, I think a big example would be something like the Orb stage for JP. When Global finally did get their comparable version to the Hidden Potential Orbs stage for that JP has, it was actually like quite a big of a power up, because the Hidden Potential Orb stage that Global had before was just so terribly outdated, and it was absolutely horrible. You barely got any orbs. But ever since we've been on the JP Orb Hidden Potential grind, I think it's been like 2 years now, maybe a year and a half. I've literally racked up so many more orbs, and I was a person that when I had first started Dokkan back in, I started in the 4th year, but the account that I have right now actually started in the 5th year anniversary, so about 4 years ago to this date. I like did all the orb events every day. Like, I was on my stuff for like the first, I'd say 3 years, and really only recently in the past year have I stopped doing orb events in the entirety. And a big part of that is because of just how powerful the JP orb event was. And then too, like, when you do them every day, it becomes very easy to stack up orbs. Like, that's why I always recommend you guys get your growth missions and stuff done. Especially like the growth events, like get your Beerus or your Whis event done every day for the skill orbs, just to get the ticket. Just do it once just to get the ticket, so you can summon on the skill orb banner. Always recommend getting you guys' Master Roshi event done as well. You get a whole bunch of training items. You get a whole bunch of Kais and things along the line. A whole bunch of Zenny. Just in general that. And if you want to do the Hercule stage, do the Hercule stage for Zenny if you need it. But the next thing I want to talk about is merchandise, including discounted dragon stones and packs. This makes 100% sense, because they're not going to be like, okay, JP boys, we're going to put your rates at Global Dokkan's stone prices and vice versa. And this also kind of gives them a reason to, I mean, dare I say this, keep the Pilaf Trove packs global exclusive. Like, basically, this is them saying, like, yeah, guys, so we're going to keep the pricings for the stones the same, and we're also going to keep the Pilaf Troves for global the same. Or they're going to keep, not necessarily the severity of the Pilaf Troves the same, but they're probably still going to be doing them occasionally. I think a big part of why they were doing such like crazy discounts and stuff like that for Global Dokkan was because, I mean, we were behind. Like, we were significantly behind JP, so like, you know, they were throwing us a bone in the sense. So I think that this is a good way to say that those will still be coming, but to the severity of prior to the sync, it's kind of just out there. Like, I highly doubt we're gonna have the same amount of tickets and you know, global benefits when we sync as we did prior, because I'm pretty sure that's why they were kind of chunking us a bone, was because we were so behind. And it's, you know, it's kind of hard to build hype for characters and stuff like that unless they're like really good and popular. A lot of the gacha games, they really rely on the surprise mechanic, the gacha mechanic. So that's why it's kind of hard to play a gacha game that's consistently behind, because unless like you have a card like a Beast Gohan, a card like a Vegito transforming into Vegito Blue, Gogeta Blue, etc., Super Saiyan 4 Goku, it's really hard to, for one, build hype for like these characters that we've seen 3 to 4 months prior. We already know their kits and everything. We know when to skip. And to maintain that hype is another big one too. Like, Beast Gohan maintained the hype ever since we saw it on JP because he was that guy. So Max still has the hype, Jiren still has the hype, because they are that individual. They are absolutely powerful. Go ahead and go to the next thing, which is, boom, the next thing coming to global. It's gonna be UI Goku. So I can't play the video, but they basically said that this guy was going to be running simultaneously as the 9th year anniversary, which means he's not going to be in the Topo, so we don't have to wait for the 12th. The 12th is roughly when Topo is going to come out. That means he should be dropping, I think, Monday. I'm recording this, I believe, Sunday. I'm recording this Saturday. Sorry, I had days messed up. I'm recording this Saturday, August 3rd. I think he'll be here August 5th. I think sometime today we should see the data download. If it's not already up by the time I get off, it's about 1 o'clock a.m. CDT. So if we don't see the data download tonight at like 1, 2 o'clock or something like that, we'll be seeing it tomorrow, or they could even wait until all of the rest of the content drops, which is scheduled to be the 8th, which would be Thursday. That would be all of the easy A's and stuff like that. But my thing is, though, is I don't think they could wait that long, because if Topo is slated to be like the, you know, the 2-week Dokkan event that we think it's going to be, where it's really just a banner and a couple of events and maybe some Tanabata stuff in between, I think Topo's going to come out on the 12th, and we know for a fact he's leaving on the 25th because we saw the Android leak. So that means that would give them 2 weeks perfectly for Topo, which is what you want from a Dokkan Fest like that, leading in to the worldwide download. And if this Goku drops on the 8th, that means he's only going to be around, unless he runs simultaneously to Topo, which is not what they've exclusively, or what they specifically said. They said simultaneous to the 9th year campaign, but the 9th year campaign should be leaving on the 12th. It should be leaving on the 11th, technically. So if they drop it on the 5th, which is in 2 days, that would give them literally an entire week of Tech UI Goku, and then boom, 12th, you drop Topo. Maybe you keep UI Goku around through the Topo celebration. So you keep him around for 3 weeks, starting from the 5th, and then he leaves on the 25th. But I think that that's fairly unlikely. I think what they're going to do is they're going to drop him on the 5th, so we should see the data download tonight, August 3rd. It'll be 48 hours until he comes back, so boom, he'll drop on the 5th, sometime at night, or the morning of the 6th, sometime around that time. He'll run until the 12th, he'll leave, and then all that'll be left would be the whatever celebration that they have for Tanabata, whatever events that they choose to give us, because I'm sure they'll give us stones, right? They're not just going to drop a single banner and then no events. Whatever events that are left for the Tanabata, I think those will run throughout the week, or throughout the weeks of Topo. So that would be a really, really easy way for them to keep the Topo banner, or to keep the Topo celebration kind of like intact without having to really worry about, well, we only have 3 or 4 events in line for Topo, but we have like all of these other Tanabata events that we can kind of just throw in when UI Goku comes out, and then just leave them, even though the banner's gone. We'll leave that celebration active throughout the Topo. That way it doesn't seem so dry on Global Dokkans, with like nothing to do. It'd also give free-to-play players a chance to build up some stones and stuff like that, basically getting most of the Tanabata celebration in the week, starting from the 5th all the way until the 25th, the Sunday of that. So that'll be perfect. 3 weeks, Tanabata in quotation marks, basically, for global, starting from the 5th. I think that's more than likely what they're gonna do. What is coming on the 5th? We get the rest of the events on the 5th. I'm kind of blanking as to what was left. Okay, so here it goes. So yeah, so we get the 7 great super missions on the 5th. We also get this link level stage on the 5th. And then, yeah, we get the rest of the red zones in Cell Max. And then maximum thank you is on the 8th. So this is basically the EX part. So I think it's definitely going to be before this. Yeah, so I think the 5th, like the 5th is just, it's pointing too many signs towards the 5th. So the 5th should probably be when he's coming out. So with the UI Goku, let's just go ahead and run through his stats. It's going to be Universe Survival Saga and Trusted Will, Realm of Gods, 170, plus additional attack and defense 30 for characters also belong to reps 7, Accelerated Matter, and Power of Revival. Huge. Let's just look at his super attack. So 12 key raise attack, greatly raise defense for 1 turn, raises allies attack by 30%, which is great. Greatly raise attack for 1 turn, raises defense for 1 turn. Cause mega loss of damage, raise allies defense by 30%. By the way, this is absolutely huge. Raises defense, and then boom, raises attack. He is a support character as long as he's in the 1st or 2nd slot. If he's in the 1st slot, obviously he's going to raise the attack and defense sooner. If he's in the 3rd slot, he's going to raise their attack and defense, but after they've already done their actions. Okay, so he's going to activate his entrance animation upon entry once only when there is at least 1 other Universal Survival Saga category in the team. Gain 4, attack and defense plus 77%, for 7 turns, and additional attack and defense plus 77% for 4 turns. This is huge. It's literally just 1 Survival Saga. So that means that other... Where is he? He's down here. This UI Goku that just got the easy to go on global, as long as you have him, you're absolutely vibing. As long as he's relevant, this card will be relevant pretty much. 77% for... Oh, I already read that. Key plus 7 and attack defense plus 200% to start a turn. Great chance to evade. Great chance to perform a crit. Reduces damage received by 15% and reduces damage received by another 35 until receiving an attack. This is kind of iffy. I'll explain it in a second, but it makes complete sense when you read the rest of the passive. After receiving an attack, guard activated against all attacks during the turn. Perform an additional super attack after evading an enemy's attack during a turn. Perform an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super attack as the 2nd or 3rd attacker in the turn. So you benefit from being the 1st slot in this, and you benefit from being the 2nd and 3rd slot in this. So right here, this is absolutely perfect. So reduces damage received by 50% and reduces damage received by an additional 35 until receiving an attack. This will help you a lot because right now it feels really, really, really bad when you don't dodge on a character. But this guy's basically like, you're good on that first time I get hit. It was my B. I'll take 1 for the team. I have 50% damage reduction. That is absolutely perfect. After receiving attack, guard activated against all attacks during the turn. This means he's going to, let's say he gets attacked 4 times, right? He dodges the first one, dodges the second one, gets hit by the 3rd one. So that when he gets hit, he has 50% damage reduction. No guard though, but after he gets hit, he'll lose his 35, so he'll still have the 15% damage reduction, and now he has guard activated for that last hit. So let's say he gets hit again in that 4th slot. When he gets hit, not only does he have guard this time, but he also still has the 15% damage reduction. So I think this kid is absolutely perfect for him. It kind of just, it rolls out the dodge or die mechanic. Obviously, this guy is still going to be more resembling a glass cannon, more so of a dodge character, but that significantly helps out, especially if you were to get caught with like a super or something like that for the first hit, or if you were just to get caught in general with like normals. I think this helps more so with normals than supers, but it's helpful nonetheless. Whenever you don't dodge with this guy, he has your back. Okay, so when he transforms, greatly raises attack and defense and disables enemy guard with the 12. Greatly raises attack and defense, causes Mega Colossal allies Attack defense 59% for 1 turn. Really, really good right here. Attack defense 300. Gain ki plus 7, attack 59, and evade all enemy attacks and allies. Chance to evade enemies' attacks plus 10% for 1 turn. This is actually really, really good. This is actually really, really good. Gain ki plus 3, and chance to perform a critical hit, and chance to evade attacks plus 20% per attack performed, max of ki 12, and chance to perform a critical hit and evade enemy 77%. So this is a very, very unique thing, meaning that the second that the guy transforms, basically you want to put him in front of attacks. It's kind of similar to like Harudegarn, if you're familiar with that card. Basically, when he transforms, as long as you dodge 3 attacks, you have guaranteed dodge in the turn coming up next. Basically, this guy's the same thing, except it's not a guaranteed dodge. You have guaranteed dodge for the very first turn when this guy transforms. And in that turn, you have to dodge basically 4 times. If you dodge 3 times, you get up to 60%, and then you could fill out the rest of the dodge chance on the next turn. But yeah, you want to dodge. When this guy transforms, the first thing you do is you put him in front of all the attacks, because you know he can't get hit unless the boss has guaranteed hits, and you want him to build up this 77% chance to dodge. Counter with tremendous power after evading an enemy attack is really, really cool. Reduces damage received by 20% and reduces damage received by an additional 40 until receiving an attack, which is also really, really good. So he's going to be a slot 1 monster right there. This is another safety net too until receiving an attack. So if you're dodging crazy, and then boom, you get hit by something like a super, or if you get slapped up, 60% damage reduction. And then after that, you go back to 20. And then right here, after you receive an attack, guard activating against all attacks during the turn. Boom. Again, the same thing from the first passive. 60% damage reduction and, until you get hit. Boom, you take that real quick. Go to 20%. But once you get hit, boom, you get guard. So guard and 20%. Slightly higher than the base form. Gain an additional attack plus 91% and chance to perform a critical hit and evade enemies' attacks plus 20% if HP is 50% or below at the start of the turn. And perform an additional super attack when ki is 24. Ridiculously powerful links. He's a Goku card, so he has literally a million categories to work with. This guy is absolutely insane. My only gripe with this unit is the condition to transform. You're not going to see it very, very often, but when you do see it, excuse me, it's going to be absolutely insane. It's pretty similar to Blue Gogeta when you get his taunt. You're not going to see it a lot, but when you do see it, it's going to be absolutely crazy, and the boss is probably going to die. Like I said, kind of tough, able to be used starting from the 5th turn from first appearance. This is it's terrible. I don't like first appearance. Basically meaning entry turn. So if you were to get him in slot 7, that means the earliest you can get him is 5 turns after that. Or slot 3, sorry. The earliest you can get him will be 5 turns after that. So he'd be here on turn 8. And if you were to get him on the first turn, you could see him turn 6. So I mean, that's probably what you want to be looking for. But yeah, I don't like this. Personally, I like it when it says from the 5th turn from the start of battle. That is significantly nicer. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much that's all there is to talk about this card. He's a really, really good card. I also do want to point out, with all of this news and stuff coming around for Dokkan and just global in general, I've heard some complaining and stuff like that with this unit. I heard a lot of people, well, not necessarily with the unit, but with the conditions surrounding the drop. I really don't like that he's here. I think it's cool that he's here, but I truthfully believe if you are going to drop him in this time slot, like Monday, the 5th of August, at like 2 a.m. or something around that time, I think you have to drop him with basically all of Tanabata. I think you have to. I absolutely think you have to, because if I'm being honest, I did spend quite a bit of money on this celebration. Obviously, I can do that. I can afford to spend money. The vast majority of players, they probably could afford to spend money, but they don't. And they refuse to. They are not going to spend money. And there's also a good amount of players who literally can't. So for all my free-to-play players out there, I think this is a shaft for you, unless you got really, really lucky on your summons. I know a lot of free-to-play players personally who just pulled the Beast Gohan, and they're struggling. They have like maybe a couple hundred stones, like maybe 200, maybe even like 50 stones to hit like one multi. But I don't think that this is a good a good idea unless they drop basically all of the Tanabata celebration, which would give you roughly like 600 stones worth of content. Like they need to drop crazy stuff. Like I understand on the 8th we have all of those easy A's coming out for the Tanabata, right? And that's going to be like 90 something stones, close to 200 stones. But I truthfully believe if they are going to choose to do this right now, they need to do it right. They need to give us as many free to play stones as possible. That way everyone has the chance to pull this unit, because if they just drop the banner and then all we get on the 8th, all we get on the 8th are those like 100 stones, and on the 5th we get like, I don't know, 20 something stones from doing the red zone, the missions, and then the Cell Max event. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. Right now, most players don't have stones. They don't. They should have been saving after, but a lot of people couldn't because they were hardcore chasing Beast Gohan, because quite frankly, he's a must summon. And it's not fair. It's not fair to the free to play players. It's not even fair to the pay to play players that, you know, got shafted, that have next to no stones. I think it's only fair if they drop the vast majority of the Tanabata banner, so everyone has the opportunity to summon on this guy just as well as JP did when JP had their Tanabata, when they had all their events, when they had all their free to play stones off. I think that's the only way to make it fair. Obviously, they don't have to make it fair. They do what the heck they want. This would be a ridiculously good money pool for Dokkan. I say that because people are forced to purchase Dragon Stones. They're forced to purchase Dragon Stones. There's more than likely going to be more stone sales coming up soon for this guy as well. I'm not sure if they've ever done simultaneous Dragon Stone sales, but they're probably going to add more stone sales to the market very soon. But yeah, this would be a crazy chance for them to make money. Absolutely crazy. Like I said, if they don't drop any new events and stuff, and all we get are the Cell Max and then the Red Zone missions, and then we get on the 8th the Easy A's, and that's it, and then the Super missions, of course, with August 5th. I do think we're gonna get top grossing. I truly do think we're gonna get top grossing. There are gonna be tons of whales chasing this, tons of dolphins, tons of yellow tunas chasing this, and yeah, I think it'd be a ridiculously sad thing for free to play players. But I think it will be a crazy lucrative scheme from Dokkan and Akatsuki. Like I said, this is very, very good for spending players like myself. But this is fairly bad for free-to-play players, especially those who chase Beast Gohan and God forbid you didn't pull them and you tried absolutely everything to get him and you're put off from the game. I completely understand. But please, guys, just be understanding for everybody. If you are a free-to-play player and you're like, well, I have 800 stones, I have 900 stones, I still have all the easy A's to do. Congratulations. Just try to be considerate to the people who are in your similar situation, who don't want to spend money or who can't spend money, and they've already exhausted all of their free-to-play resources, and they just want the game to be fairly fair to them and to feel like they're represented. Feel like they're like Bandai's not just looking at players like me, players like you that can save, and players that can buy all these Pilaf Tro packs, buy the subscriptions and things like that, because the game's for everyone. It's not just for paying players, regardless if it's a gacha or not. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you all later.